Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are doing something a little bit different.
Yeah, we are. We're stepping away from our usual, the complex geopolitical stuff or the latest in tech.
Exactly. No AI breakthroughs or economic forecasts today. Today we are going back to basics, back to the absolute foundation of human connection.
We're talking about that moment, right? That moment of sheer panic.
Oh, I know the one.
You walk into a room, you meet someone new, and they hit you with it. So tell me about yourself.
And your mind just goes completely blank. It's that blank slate panic, isn't it? You suddenly can't remember your own name, let alone what you do for a living.
Every interesting thought you've ever had just evaporates.
Yeah.
It's a universal terror.
It really is. But we've got this source material today, this conversation between two people, that suggests we might be thinking about it all wrong.
Right. On the surface, it looks like a very simple English lesson script.
It does. It looks like a basic, hello, my name is,
Yeah.
Textbook dialogue. But our whole mission today is to dig into that and prove that there is a real art form hidden inside these simple sentences.
And simple definitely does not mean easy. I think that's a key distinction.
Good point.
In fact, the things we say every single day, the basics, our name, our job, where we're from, those are the things that actually carry the most weight. They're your personal headline.
Your headline. I love that. That's a great way to put it. It's your thesis statement for who you are.
Exactly.
And because our source material today is specifically focused on English conversation, and we know we have a lot of listeners who use this show to sharpen their language skills, we're going to be very intentional today. We're going to keep our pace, pretty moderate. We'll try to unpack the vocabulary as we go. We really want to make sure that whether you're a native speaker or you're learning English, you can catch every single nugget here.
That is absolutely the goal. We want to move beyond the textbook. A textbook tells you what to say. We want to analyze why you're saying it, and more importantly, how it connects you to another person.
Okay, so let's set the stage.
Yeah.
In our source text, we've got two characters. First up, we have Sarah.
Sarah, she's our American representative in this conversation. And based on the text, she comes across as the high-energy half of this duo.
High energy, how so?
Well, she's a coffee drinker. She says so right at the start. She's enthusiastic, and you can sort of feel her driving the conversation forward.
Okay, so she's the engine. And then we have Mark.
Mark is the British counterweight. He's much more relaxed. He's enjoying the sun, he says. He has this very, grounded, solid kind of presence.
The energetic American and the relaxed Brit. It's a classic pairing, isn't it?
It really is.
So our mission today is to break down how they build their identities, piece by piece, right from scratch. We're going to look at what the source calls the 6 pillars of a self-introduction.
Right. Name, origin, job, family, hobbies, and favorites. The building blocks.
And hopefully by the end of this, you, the listener, will be able to take these same pillars and build your own introduction.
That's the idea.
All right, let's dive into the first section, the icebreaker. Now, in the source text, Sarah and Mark, they don't just walk up and say, I'm Sarah, I'm Mark. It doesn't start there. It starts with feelings.
This is such a critical distinction. Think about the standard greeting that we all use. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. You?
Exactly. I'm fine. It's almost a reflex, isn't it? It's a shield. I'm fine basically means I am functioning. Please proceed with the conversation, but please don't ask me anything real.
It's a conversation closer. It shuts the door. But Sarah, in the text, she kicks the door wide open. She says, I am feeling energetic.
Energetic. It's a fantastic adjective. It's so much more descriptive than good or fine. It's positive. It's active. But she doesn't stop there. And this, for anyone trying to master conversation, this is the key.
The why.
The why. She gives a reason. She says, I drank a very good cup of coffee this morning.
So why does that matter? I mean, why do we need to know about the coffee? It seems like such a small detail.
It's a psychological concept called attribution. If you just say, I'm energetic, it can actually be a little bit intimidating to the other person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's an internal state that I, as the listener, can't access. I don't know why you're energetic. Maybe you're just a naturally intense person. But the moment she points to the coffee, she grounds it in a shared reality. She attributes her feeling to a physical object. I am energetic because of this coffee.
Oh, okay. And that gives Mark something to grab onto. He can't really comment on her internal feelings, but he can absolutely talk about coffee.
Precisely. She has just handed him a conversational handle. She's basically inviting him into her morning ritual. It makes her sound so much more human and approachable rather than just intense.
And Mark's response is perfect. He mirrors her structure. He doesn't just say, I'm good. He says, I am relaxed.
And then he gives his own attribution.
Right. It is a beautiful sunny day outside.
So immediately, before we even know their names, we have a dynamic. We have Sarah inside with her caffeine buzzing with internal energy, and we have Mark reacting to the sunshine, soaking up this external relaxation.
It's an energetic versus relaxed contrast right from the get-go.
It completely sets the mood for the entire interaction. It is so much more effective than just hello, gives you context, it paints a picture.
So for our listeners, especially the learners, this is a really tangible takeaway. Next time someone asks, how are you? Try not to just give a one-word answer.
Yeah. Give a reason. The because is the magic word. I'm tired because I stayed up too late reading a book. I am happy because my favorite team won last night.
That because is the bridge. It invites the other person to walk across and join you.
It really is.
Okay, so the mood is set. We have our energetic, caffeinated Sarah and our relaxed, sunny Mark. Now they get to the basics, the name exchange.
And the source text makes a point of having them spell their names out, M-A-R-K and S-A-R-A-H.
This might seem incredibly basic to a native English speaker, almost childish, but I think in a global context, this is a genuine survival skill.
Oh, absolutely. Names are the most personal thing we own, and yet they're the thing people get wrong most often, mispronouncing, misspelling.
I cannot tell you how many times I've had to correct the spelling of my name on a form or in an email. And if you don't do it clearly and early, it just gets more awkward later on.
Exactly. The source text here is emphasizing clarity. S-A-R-A-H. Sarah with an H, M-A-R-K. Mark with a K. Being able to clearly and confidently spell your name using the English alphabet is a foundational skill for business, for travel, for everything.
It signals that you care about accuracy, about getting the details right.
It does. But here's where the personality starts to bleed through again, which I love, the nickname conversation.
Yes. I found this really interesting in the notes. Sarah mentions that she has a variation. Her friends call her Sar.
Sar. It's just the first syllable. It's short, it's punchy, it's very casual.
So what does that signal to you? Someone introduces themselves as, say, Jonathan, and then immediately follows up with, but you can call me John.
It signals a desire for intimacy, a desire to drop the formalities right away. It's an invitation. It says, I want to fast forward past the stranger stage. I see you as a potential friend.
It's a very American trait, often, isn't it? That desire to get to a first-name basis or even a nickname basis as quickly as possible.
It can be, yes. It's about closing that distance. But then we have Mark.
Right. Sarah asks him, do you have a nickname? And he shuts it down.
A very polite but very firm no.
And he gives a reason. He says Mark is a very short name already. Only 4 letters.
Which is logical. But then he adds this fascinating little descriptor. He calls it a strong name.
A strong name. That is such a specific and interesting way to describe your own name. What does that even mean?
Well, I think it tells us a lot about Mark's self-perception. He likes things to be clear, simple, traditional. He doesn't need a cutesy or softened version of his identity. He's solid. He's Mark. No alternatives needed.
It really reinforces that energetic versus relaxed dynamic, doesn't it? Or maybe casual versus formal. Sarah is Sar. She's breezy and friendly and wants to connect. Mark is Mark, unmovable and solid.
It's character development happening in real time, and this is just from the first minute of the conversation. It's incredible how much information is packed in there.
Okay, moving on. Section 2. We know who they are. Now we need to know where they come from. The big where are you from question.
The geography question. And this is where things can get a little tribal.
Tribal. How do you mean?
Well, look at how Mark answers. He starts broad. He says, I am from the UK. I am British. That's the passport answer, the official line.
Right.
But then he drills down. He says he's from Manchester. And almost in the same breath, he adds this little disclaimer. He says, I don't live in London.
That stood out to me, too.
Yeah.
Why does he feel the need to say where he doesn't live? It's like introducing yourself and saying, hi, I'm from New York, not Los Angeles.
Exactly. Think about the global perception of England. To 90% of the world, England is London. It's Big Ben, it's the Queen, it's red buses. If you're from anywhere else, especially the north of England, Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds, you are constantly fighting against that London-centric gravity.
So it's an assertion of regional pride.
Absolutely. Manchester has a completely different identity. It has a gritty industrial history. It has a legendary music scene. This is what I mean, you think Oasis, the Smiths, Joy Division. It has this massive soccer culture. By saying, not London, Mark is signaling, I am not a tourist attraction. I am the real working England. I am from the north.
And he leans right into the stereotype of the North, doesn't he? He immediately brings up the weather.
Oh, he does. It rains a lot. It is very wet.
Which is so funny because if you remember at the very start of the conversation, he said he was relaxed because it was a beautiful, sunny day.
Exactly. And this gives us so much more context now. The reason he is enjoying the sun so much today is precisely because it's a rare event for him. Yeah. If he lived in the Sahara Desert, he wouldn't even mention the sun. But because he comes from the rainy city, a sunny day is a luxury. It's something to be noticed and appreciated.
It connects the dots perfectly. His feeling at the beginning is explained by his geography later on. Okay, now let's look at Sarah. She mirrors his structure. Country first, then region.
United States, then California, the West Coast.
And the contrast could not be sharper. Mark is rainy city. Sarah is sunny state. She says it's usually sunny, it's warm, and she casually drops in that she loves the beach.
She is selling the California dream in a single sentence. If Mark represents the grounded, realistic, slightly cynical British relationship with the weather, Sarah represents the optimistic, easy-breezy, radiant American sunshine.
It creates this beautiful binary in the source material. Rain versus sun, north of England versus west coast of America, gray skies versus blue skies.
And for the listener who is trying to construct their own introduction, this is the lesson. Don't just say the name of your city. Give it a descriptor. Give it an atmosphere.
Right. So don't just say, I'm from Chicago.
No. Say, I'm from Chicago, the windy city, where the winters are brutal, but the summers by the lake are perfect. Or, I'm from Bangkok, where the streets are always full of energy and the food is unbelievably spicy.
Paint a picture. You're trying to transport the listener to your home for just a second.
Exactly. Your geography isn't just a point on a map. It is the backdrop of your life story. It explains so much about why you are the way you are.
Speaking of what we do, let's move on to section 3, professional identity, the what do you do question.
This is usually the next question in any introduction, isn't it? In many cultures, especially in the US and UK, your job is a massive part of your identity tag.
It really is. Now, Sarah has a dual identity in the text. She's a podcaster, which is what she's doing at that moment. But the first thing she says is, I am a writer.
And this is key. She doesn't just stop at writer. If she just said, I am a writer, that's impressive, but it's also very vague. It could mean she writes technical manuals for kitchen appliances.
That would give a very different vibe, yes.
A very different vibe. But she gets specific, and that's where the personality comes in. Books for children. Okay, that's interesting. Then she gets even more specific. Funny stories about animals.
That one detail does so much heavy lifting. It immediately tells us she has a sense of humor. It tells us she's probably imaginative. She describes her work as creative.
It paints a picture of a whimsical person, someone who probably spends a lot of time in her own head dreaming up these funny animal characters. It's a lovely image.
It is. Now, let's contrast that with Mark. Mark is a teacher, specifically a high school English teacher.
A very noble profession, and very, very grounded in reality compared to writing funny stories about animals.
Wow, listen to how he talks about it.
Yeah.
He's very honest. He admits the students are energetic and sometimes noisy.
Which is a very polite, very British, teacher-like way of saying they are completely wild.
Right. But he doesn't sound negative about it. He says he loves it. He finds it rewarding. He says he likes helping people learn.
So he frames his job around service and connection. Sarah frames her job around creativity and imagination. Mark frames his around helping others and contributing to their growth.
He also acknowledges that it's hard work. I think that honesty is really appealing. He isn't pretending it's easy or glamorous.
It creates respect, doesn't it? We respect Mark because he does something difficult for a good reason. But I want to pause here for a second because the source text actually stops the conversation at this point to highlight a very specific grammar rule.
Yes, the grammar spotlight. This is so important, especially for our English learners listening.
It's the rule of using a versus an before a job title. The indefinite articles.
It seems like such a small thing, doesn't it? Just one little letter, a or am.
It's small, but it's, I would argue, almost philosophical. In many other languages, you might say, I am teacher. You treat the job like an adjective. It's a quality that describes you. But in English, you must say, I am a teacher.
Why is that? What's the deep reason we insist on that little A?
It's because it places you into a category. It says, there is a large group of people in the world called teachers, and I am one member of that group. It's a noun. It's a role you inhabit, a badge you wear. It's not your entire being.
So if a learner says, I am teacher, without the A,
It just sounds broken to a native ear. It sounds like you are claiming to be the abstract concept of teaching itself. It's like saying, I am fire, instead of I am a firefighter.
that is a fantastic way to explain it. It's almost a statement of humility. You are one of many. You are a member of a profession.
Exactly. And the rule is very strict. If the job starts with a vowel, on A, E, I, O, U, R, you need to use an. I am an accountant. I am an engineer.
I'm an artist.
Whereas with a consonant sound, it's A, I am a writer. I am a doctor. It's a fundamental rhythm of the English language when you're talking about your identity.
So we have our characters defined by their work. Whimsical Sarah the writer and Noble Mark the teacher.
Now let's go home with them. Section 4.
Family dynamics.
Family. This is often where you find the biggest differences in people's backgrounds, and it usually explains so much about their personalities today.
For sure. Sarah goes first, and she has a small family. She's got just one sister.
Emily, and she's younger.
Right, Emily, 20 years old, a university student. And Sarah says they are best friends, and they talk on the phone every day.
Now that paints a very specific picture, a small, tight-knit unit. If you talk to your only sister every single day, that implies a level of constant, intimate support. It's a quiet, close circle of 2.
And then compare that to Mark. Mark just drops a bomb here. He has 5 siblings.
5. 3 brothers and 2 sisters. That is a household of 6 kids, plus parents. That is a crowd.
He describes his house growing up as very, very noisy and very busy.
But he also says it was fun. And I think this connects perfectly back to his job. Remember, he's a high school teacher. He spends his entire day in a room with 30 energetic, noisy teenagers.
And he's totally fine with it. He says he loves it.
Of course he does. He grew up in that environment. If you grow up with 5 siblings, chaos is your normal. Noise is your baseline. You learn how to navigate a crowd, how to be heard, how to manage multiple personalities at once.
Oh, that is a brilliant connection. I hadn't even thought of that. Mark is comfortable in the chaos of a classroom because his childhood living room was basically a classroom.
It's exactly that. Whereas Sarah, who values that quiet one-on-one connection with her sister, she's a writer, a profession that is almost always done alone, in silence. She values the quiet conversation.
It's amazing how consistently these details align to build a coherent character. Mark also mentions the geography of his family now. His brothers are in London. His sisters are still in Manchester. They're spread out.
Which makes their gathering special. He mentions Christmas specifically. And his description is lots of food and lots of talking. It just sounds festive and loud and, well, a bit chaotic.
It's such a great contrast. Sarah's family life feels like a quiet, intimate conversation in a cafe. Mark's family life feels like a huge, noisy banquet.
And neither is better than the other, they're just different. But for the listener, the takeaway is, how would you describe your family dynamic? Are you from a big, noisy family or a small, quiet one? Using those kinds of adjectives adds so much flavor to your introduction. It tells people what kind of social environment you come from.
Right, so moving on to what they do when they aren't working or with family. Section 5, hobbies.
And here we go again with another layer of contrast between our 2 hosts. The source highlights this as active versus quiet.
Mark is definitely the active one. The text says he likes to stay active.
Which is a great phrase for English learners, by the way. Stay active. It implies a general lifestyle choice, not just one specific sport. It's very natural.
So what does he do? He plays tennis on the weekends at the park, and he goes hiking in the mountains.
And again, notice the connection to his environment. He's from Manchester, which is very close to the north of England's beautiful national parks like the Peak District. So hiking isn't just a random choice of hobby, it's a direct product of where he lives.
And then we have Sarah, who admits right up front, I am not very active.
I love that honesty. So many of us feel this pressure in an introduction to sound like a superhero. Oh, in my spare time, I skydive and I run ultra marathons. Sarah just says, nope, not me.
Her main hobby is reading, which of course fits her job as a writer perfectly.
Yeah.
And she even sets the scene for us. A quiet cafe with a cup of tea.
It's cozy, it's introverted, it matches her California sunshine vibe, but in a comfortable indoor way. And her second hobby connects to this sort of nurturing vibe she has. Cooking.
Specifically cooking dinner for friends. And her specialty is pasta. spaghetti with tomato sauce.
Classic comfort food. So Sarah's hobbies are all about comfort and quiet connection. Tea, books, pasta, a small group of friends. Mark's hobbies are about action and the outdoors, tennis, hiking, being part of a team, or out in nature.
But this is where the conversation, the text gets really fun and I think really human. They have what the source calls the skill gap moment.
Yes. The confession of weakness. This is so important in building rapport. If you only list things you're good at, you can sound arrogant. You can seem untouchable. Vulnerability is what connects people.
So Sarah admits she is terrible at tennis. She says she can't even hit the ball.
She's making fun of herself a little bit. She's showing humility. She's saying, I am not perfect. It's very endearing.
And in return, Mark admits he cannot cook very well. He says the only things he can make are toast and eggs.
Toast and eggs. I mean, come on, Mark. That's barely cooking. That is just heating bread and an egg.
It's survival level food.
Oh.
But what happens next is the absolute key to this whole section. Because of these confessed weaknesses, these skill gaps, Sarah makes an offer.
She says, maybe I can teach you how to cook pasta one day.
And boom, that's the moment. That's real connection. They've found a way to interact beyond just talking. That's what sharing hobbies and vulnerabilities does. It can find common ground, or in this case, complementary ground.
It's the I can help you with X if you can help me with Y principle.
It transforms the entire conversation from a polite interview into the beginning of a potential friendship. I have a skill that you need. It's a value exchange.
Precisely. And the lesson for anyone introducing themselves is don't be afraid to say what you're bad at. I love watching movies, but I'm terrible at remembering actors' names. It makes people laugh. It makes them like you because it makes you seem real.
Okay, so we've covered the deep stuff, the jobs, the families, the vulnerability. Now let's pick up the pace a little. Section 6, the speed round.
The speed round is a classic conversational tool. When you want to get to know someone quickly or if the energy of a conversation is starting to dip, you can just ask about favorites.
It's low pressure, isn't it? Everyone has a favorite color. You don't have to think too hard about it.
It's very low stakes, but it can be very high in insight because it reveals patterns.
Okay, let's look at Mark's list first. His favorite color is dark green. His favorite season is autumn or fall.
Okay, let's just stop there for a second. Dark green, autumn. He likes cool weather. He likes orange leaves. This is perfectly 100% consistent with the persona he's been building.
It is. He's the earth guy. He likes the earth tones, the cool air. It fits the hiking in the mountains near Manchester vibe perfectly.
He's consistent. It's not like he said, I love hiking in the moody British hills, and then followed it up with, my favorite color is neon pink. His answers all align.
Okay, what about his favorite animal?
Dogs. And he's specific. A golden retriever.
Loyal, friendly, active, good in the outdoors.
Yeah.
It's basically the dog version of Mark.
It really is. And his favorite food.
Sushi. Japanese food.
Okay, that's a little bit of a curveball, but an interesting one. It shows he has a taste for something a bit more distinct, maybe a bit refined. It balances out the toast and eggs vibe.
It does. It adds a little bit of complexity.
Yeah.
Now let's look at Sarah. Her favorite color.
Yellow. And she adds, like the sun.
Her favorite season.
Summer. She likes hot weather and going to the beach.
Her favorite animal.
Cats. Soft and cute, she says.
And her favorite food.
Pizza. Specifically cheese pizza. Okay, now look at that profile as a whole. Yellow, summer, cats, pizza. It is warm. It is sunny. It is comfortable. It is domestic. It is pure California comfort.
It's incredible how consistent they both are. These don't feel like random answers. They feel like they fit the character that has been built throughout the entire conversation. Sarah is the sun. Mark is the earth.
That's a very poetic way to put it, but I think it's true. And when you answer these favorites questions for yourself, you are, in a way, building your own personal brand. You're telling people what kind of energy you bring to the table.
It makes me think about my own answers. I mean, if I say my favorite season is winter, my favorite drink is black coffee, I'm signaling something very different than if I say my favorite season is spring and I love fruit smoothies.
You are signaling intensity versus breeziness. Every single answer is a signal that helps the other person build a mental model of who you are.
So we have all the pieces. We've gathered all the bricks. Now we have to build the house. The final section, section 7, is putting it all together.
This is the synthesis. This is the big takeaway. In the source text, they demonstrate how to take all these little answers, which can sometimes feel like a disconnected ping pong match, and weave them into a smooth monologue. A proper, full self-introduction.
It's what the source calls the party scenario. You're standing there, maybe holding a drink at some networking event, and someone turns to you and says, "So tell me about yourself."
Yeah.
You don't want to make them ask you 5 different questions. You want to be able to give them the summary.
And Sarah goes first in the text. She links it all up. Name, origin, job, family, hobbies, favorite. All in one go.
My name is Sarah. I'm from California in the United States. I'm a writer and a podcaster. I have one younger sister. In my free time, I like reading and cooking for my friends. And my favorite season is summer.
See how it flows? It has a rhythm. It isn't just a list of facts. It's a short story. I am this person from this place doing this thing with these people and loving this.
And Mark does the exact same thing with his own details. I'm Mark. I'm from Manchester in England. I work as a high school teacher. I come from a big family. I have 5 siblings. I enjoy staying active by playing tennis and hiking. And my favorite food is sushi.
It's compact, it's efficient, and it's comprehensive. And notice the final tip that Mark gives in the text. It's not about grammar, it's not about vocabulary, it's something else entirely.
Remember to smile.
It sounds so cliche, doesn't it? But especially if you're speaking in a second language or even just in a high-pressure networking situation, we often get so focused on getting the words right that forget about our face, our brow furrows, because we're concentrating so hard.
That is so true. I've seen people trying to speak a new language, and they look absolutely terrifying because they're thinking so hard about the verb conjugation. They look angry.
Exactly. And that perceived anger or that intensity can scare the other person away. Mark's advice is physical. It's somatic. Relax your face, smile. It literally makes your voice sound friendlier, and it makes the listener more relaxed and more patient with you. It's a nonverbal way to bridge any language gap.
So after breaking all this down, what does it all mean for our listener? We've seen the mechanics, we've dissected the dialogue. What's the big takeaway?
I think the big takeaway is that introducing yourself is a structured skill. It's not something you have to improvise from scratch every single time. You can actually build your own personal script.
You can prepare your answers in advance. You can decide right now, what is my weather story for my city? What is the one adjective I want to use for my job? What is my skill gap that I'm willing to share?
Precisely. You are the author of your own introduction. Sarah and Mark showed us a template. Now you just have to fill in your own details.
The source text actually ends with a direct challenge to the listener. They want you to try and answer these questions for yourself.
And Sarah provides a very simple template to start with if the full monologue is too intimidating. Just name plus country plus one hobby. For example, I am Maria, I am from Brazil, and I like dancing.
It's simple, but it's powerful. It's a start. And I love the advice they give with it. Speak loud and proud. Don't be shy.
Don't be shy is always easier said than done, of course, but practice is what makes it easier. The more times you say, I am a teacher or I am an engineer out loud, the more natural it feels in your mouth. You stop translating it in your head and you just start speaking it.
And I love that they emphasize it's a step-by-step process. You don't have to give the full 2-minute biography on day 1. Just start with your name, then add your country. Build it up brick by brick.
It's a journey, just like learning a language. You lay one brick at a time until you've built something solid.
You know what I find fascinating about this whole deep dive is that even though the source material was clearly designed for English learners, I feel like I learned something today about how to be a better conversationalist in my native language.
Oh yeah, how so?
It's that idea of the because, the why. Not just I'm fine, but I'm fine because of the sun. Not just, I like autumn, but I like autumn because the leaves change color. That, because, is the secret ingredient of connection.
It really is. Facts are dry. Reasons are human. The because is where your personality lives. If you tell me you like pizza, I know what you eat. If you tell me you like pizza because it reminds you of Friday nights as a kid with your family, now I know who you are.
Boom. There it is. That is the deep dive difference. We take a simple sentence about pizza and we turn it into a philosophy of human connection.
That's what we aim for.
We have covered a lot of ground today, from the rainy streets of Manchester to the sunny beaches of California, from quiet cafes with a book to noisy family dinners with 5 siblings.
We've seen how a tiny grammar rule like using a versus an actually sports your identity. We've seen how hobbies reveal personality and how admitting you can't cook can actually be the thing that makes you a new friend.
And we've learned that whether you are more of a SAR or more of a Mark, there is a way to introduce yourself that is authentic to you and that makes people want to lean in and know more.
And at the end of the day, that is the ultimate goal, isn't it? Not just to speak, but to be heard, to be understood, and to connect.
So here is my final thought for you to take away today. We talked a lot about the facts you share when you introduce yourself, but I want you to think for a moment about the facts you don't share. Mark didn't mention his favorite movie. Sarah didn't mention her favorite band. An introduction is a highlight reel. You are the editor. You get to choose what makes the final cut. So my question is, what are the 3 things that absolutely have to be on your highlight reel? The 3 things that make you, you.
That's a great question to ponder because it forces you to prioritize. You can't list everything. You have to decide what's most important. What's on your trailer?
The trailer for the movie of you. I love that. So go think about it. Practice it in the mirror.
Yeah.
Smile while you do it. And then go out there and introduce yourself to the world.
Perfectly said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We will catch you in the next one.
Goodbye, everyone.